Steven Universe is a show I constantly have to remind myself exists, because it just hits on all my giddy childhood obsessions. Adventures, colorful magical girls, catchy songs, positive kid characters, and smart lessons that go beyond morals. Yes, I'm super biased, but I don't believe how good this show really is. It's not just cute, it's not just silly, it's not just mysterious, it's not just dark, it's not just actiony, and it's not just romantic. It's that and so much more. This show works on so many levels, for kids, adults, theorists, fan artists, and lovers of all things symbolic and silly. Oh, and references galore.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, Steven! Yeah! Congrats, little man!
Steven Universe is the together breakfast we didn't know we wanted. Fair warning, everything that occurred in Season 1 of Steven Universe and parts of Adventure Time will be referenced here. The visuals will be used to support my statements and are spoilers for those two shows. But if you remove the visuals and listen to this as an audio track, you can be more safe from spoilers, as my review is a commentary on larger themes and ideas and don't discuss the endings of episodes or arcs. Songs from the show will be in the audio though, so mild spoilers ahead. So watch if you want spoilers and listen if you don't, really. So here's a little background on Steven Universe. Before there was Steven, there was... I loved Adventure Time through all its seasons, but there were definitely some episodes that got top marks in my books. I also loved the musical elements of some episodes so much, but guess what I discovered? Every single one of my favorite episodes and songs was worked on by Rebecca Sugar. That is no coincidence. Rebecca Sugar worked as a storyboard artist and composer on Adventure Time, and created some of the most memorable songs and episodes. She's the one we have to thank for It Came From the Nightosphere, the episode that stood out the most for me when I was watching Adventure Time. It's the episode I used to introduce people to the show, and the one I quote the most.
Keep your crummy soul.
Gunter, who told you you could fly?
She also composed some of the most memorable music. You can thank her very much for
baking pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake.
Daddy, why did you eat my fries? I bought them and they were mine.
Oh, Fiona, I won't let anything in this world keep us apart.
Now, if that wasn't impressive enough, she also composed the song Remember You and storyboarded that episode, and the Fire Princess episodes, and the Fiona and Cake episodes, and the Incendium episode. So basically, she's a master of feels and has a great knack for music. These episodes felt so powerful that they stood out in my mind the most, and Rebecca Sugar was an integral part of all of them. And guess what? She would go on to create even more amazingly catchy songs with lots of heart.
You might even like being together, and if you don't, it won't be forever. But if it were me, I'd really want to be a giant woman, a giant woman. All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman.
Not only was Steven Universe springboarded from Adventure Time, it improves on the show's designs in many ways. But more comparisons to come. The Crewniverse, the Steven Universe crew, is also a very interesting team of artists and designers. Their ingenious pacing, foreshadowing, and care in each episode really helped the fandom thrive and spread wonderful messages to viewers. Why is the show so good? The secret sauce of Steven Universe comes in 3 parts. Let's start by talking about the pace. Early on in the season, the show seemed to be a typical A-B plot, slice-of-life story, where there would be a creature of the week, a down-to-earth problem, and 11 minutes to resolve both issues. They would fight a monster, retrieve a magical artifact, understand more about others, and gain experience each week without a giant burst of power gain. This is very similar to Adventure Time, which also relied on episodic plots where Finn and Jake would go to a place, do a thing, leave with some kind of information gained. Rinse and repeat. What sets Steven Universe apart is the foreshadowing of larger arcs in those episodes, and sprinkling them with just enough character development for deeper roots to set in. It reels you in with humor and silly references and adventures, and slowly makes its path towards darker mysteries and deeper emotional levels. This works in this show's structure and theming as well. At first, the gems are reluctant to expose Steven to monsters and their adventures, as he's just a kid who doesn't understand gem power or know how to use his own properly. As Steven gains allies and abilities, he gets more entrenched into the crystal gems, though they do try to stop him from learning everything and being exposed to dangerous situations. The pace accelerates as Steven learns new abilities on his own, and pumps the brakes when the gems begin to train him and teach him about their culture and his mother Rose. No longer is the show just about missions or destroying evil gem creatures, it's about much more. The show's ingenuity is that slower episodes dubbed filler episodes by some, are still vitally important to the development of characters and tidbits about each Jem and Greg. When there is exposition, it's exciting but never too clear. Information sometimes comes in laterally, which is great for an active fan community of theorists and secret hunters. I created this chart to help visualize the DNA of Steven Universe's pacing, based on the themes focused on during the first season. So here are the themes by color. Purple, monster and mission episodes. Red, Steven maturing, learning more about his power. Blue, Jem history, or exposition about Jem culture. Multicolored star, spotlight on one of the Gems, Greg, or a beach city citizen. Heart, deep emotional or relationship moments. Yellow diamond, new character introduced. Green triangle, longer arc picked up or continued. So what does this pattern reveal about the first season of Steven Universe? Nearly every single major episode has Steven maturing in some way, and it's not just superficially like, I should be nicer, or sharing is important, but in smart and subtle lessons about persistence, compassion, honesty, and friendship. You can also notice that the Monster of the Week episodes show up less and less, replaced with much more Jem spotlight or Jem history plots. It's also noticeable that there is very few episodes that introduce new characters. These are usually turning points in the series and don't go away after they serve a purpose. Lapis, Peridot, and Lion are real additions to the cast, not just one-off characters that disappear into the background. No offense to Adventure Time, which has a slew of characters introduced and never reused. There are much more Jem or Beach City spotlights later in the season, but Jem history is sprinkled throughout the season with a higher grouping towards the end of Steven Bomb, the week-long finale. It's also obvious that the two-parters are another turning point in the series, with each one spurring new arcs and larger adventures for the Crystal Gems. Most notably, there is a higher frequency of deep relationship and emotional episodes as the show goes on, mirroring how adolescence is a time where we first build intense relationships on our own terms, and learn the boundaries and pitfalls of those relationships, between friends, mentors, guardians, and others. Relationships are an integral role of growing up and learning how to carry yourself in the larger world. Even if the driving force is from an outside alien creature, relationships are the universal currency of the series.
Oh, Wellingstone, I tried so hard to fly, but I was thrown. Oh, Wellingstone, I gotta tell the Gems 'cause they should know.
The relationship episodes increase along with the spotlight episodes, as these themes are often intertwined. As you learn more about others, you reach new emotional depths, leading to feels. But what is the next most important element of Steven Universe? Continuity. Continuity builds trust in the viewers. Seeing one character stay the same episode after episode does not do justice to storytelling. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with characters retaining their personalities and behaviors. The show just has to acknowledge that yes, these things happen. Yes, we failed that mission. Yes, we already revealed that fact. Yes, someone is still trying to contact us. Lars is still learning his lessons. Connie is still going to tennis practice after she mentions it. Greg still lives in a van and runs a car wash. Steven still loves Cookie Cat, and so much more. Though continuity can sometimes get you into trouble when fans find inconsistencies,
my mind is the internet. I know every continuity mistake ever made on television.
It also allows them to build larger theories, as all episodes are canon and can be built upon with even more continuity, which is awesome! Many other shows don't have strong continuity or consistency. Sometimes characters will appear smarter or dumber than previous episodes, or act irrationally just to get the plot moving. But Steven Universe keeps Steven vulnerable, still showing him cry even as he's becoming more powerful, because that's who he is. He's just an emotional kid. Continuity makes adventures feel more important. Adventure Time has some of these with Marcelina and Ice King, Prismo and the Lich, Bubblegum and Lemongrout, but generally treads lightly in continuity between episodes and seasons. Before I get into the last piece of the puzzle, let's admire how beautiful the art, design, and color palettes of the show are. Okay, that's been your scenery porn for the day, but also the show has so much action in it. The action scenes have great choreography. Look at this! Look how amazing this is! The last piece of the puzzle is development of themes. Every book, movie, TV show, album, subreddit, and restaurant menu has themes. Some of them are obvious and others are hard to put your finger on. What makes Steven Universe's themes unique is that they're really quite settled for an animated show on Western television. So even though I'm sure there will be more themes developing on the show, here are some observations that I've made from the first season. One of the major themes of Steven Universe is the mysteries of growing up and adults keeping secrets. Adults keep secrets to protect children and loved ones, and that behavior gets inherited by those children who end up keeping secrets of their own. Steven Universe depicts how difficult it is to unearth the truth behind gem history, and that the ancient and powerful gems themselves don't have all the answers. Adults keep secrets because they're scared of the consequences of telling the truth. Will Steven understand what his mom meant to the crystal gems? Will he accept that they're over 6,000 years old? Will he be able to trust the gems who are willingly keeping information from him? How this theme develops is that Steven acts as a catalyst to help the crystal gems accept the truths and move past them. He admits that he fully doesn't understand everything that's going on, but will continue to love the gems and the people around him just the same. He truly has healing powers by having a kind heart that has plenty of love to give. Ultimately, this theme resolves itself around how Steven chooses to go forward with keeping his own secrets, and how he reveals information to his friends and the gems.
Steven and the crystal gems, gonna make you smile. I accidentally created an alternate timeline.
Another primary theme is love. Not the kiddie sense of love, like do you like me or do you like me like me? This show really explores some deeply personal and realistic types of love. Here are just some examples. The crushes that you can't get away from and end up regretting even as you gravitate more for their approval. The loyalty love that only one person has ever provided for you, and you reminisce about it constantly. The first love that gives you butterflies and makes you embarrassed about being too romantic. The lost love of being in a close friendship that got torn apart by a big blow-up, unable to mend itself back to the way it was. The love that is eternal, all-encompassing, bold and unafraid to expose itself. The love that is forgiving, bittersweet but honest, and the love that was never known, but longed for. On the last point, there's a subtle theme underwriting almost everything in Steven Universe that I picked up, and that theme is bittersweetness. Bittersweetness is defined as being once bitter and sweet, most commonly a combination of happiness and sadness. Steven has a lot of triumphs, but they're also mixed with the experience of failing. We see how he does things right, but sometimes that's just not good enough.
I have to win!
Let's meet it! Prepare your meats! Shake it!
This is it!
Player 1 wins! You're toast, player 2.
I can't do it! Garnet, snap out of it!
For a show with a child protagonist, he's still allowed to fail and mess up a lot. He isn't treated as dumb, and even when he tries his best, he can sometimes fail, and that takes a lot of guts to show. It really reminds me of the tear-jerking episode of The Simpsons.
Well, I would think you'd be used to failing by now.
No, you don't understand. I really tried this time. I really tried.
There.
This is as good as I can do, and I still failed.
There's a bittersweet quality to having Steven succeed, but also fail at things that we want him to succeed at. Another big place where the bittersweet theme reoccurs is everything to do with the crystal gems. How Rose, their leader, gave up everything to bring Steven into the world. His happiness in life came at a cost. How the gems love Steven, but don't really understand what he needs or how to solve his emotional crises.
But he needs us to show him how to be a gem.
Steven is not just a gem. There has never been anything or anyone like Steven. We don't know what he needs.
How the gems don't belong to Homeworld, but don't fit into Earth very well either. They long for something that once was. But we see how they strive for happiness and believe in Steven and their purpose. We see how Greg wants the best for his son too, but doesn't know how to help, and misses his wife just as much, even as years passed. Steven's life isn't perfect. The crystal gems are not perfect. There is a bittersweetness tinging a lot of the elements in the show, showing how you can have sadness and happiness interplay and mix.
I'm gonna disappear without ever making a single friend.
We could be friends.
And that's just how life is. You get the good with the bad, and it's okay to have both emotions of happiness and sadness sit side by side in your mind. Of course those emotions fight for dominance, but Steven Universe shows how both can live together, strive for better days, and keep the light on during the nights.
None of us know what's going to happen, but that's okay. We can figure things out. Together.
I can't wait to see how Season 2 of Steven Universe shapes up. It's been a wonderful ride so far, and I hope that the artists, writers, and designers keep the show fresh, emotionally true, build on previous continuity, and have a lot more amazing songs. Have a good day, and believe in Steven!